Hello and welcome to this episode of The Gunman. In this video I'll be taking you through this brown Ford Territory painted in Havana Metallic is the colour name, colour code HV. So as you can see, the prep work has already been done. I've then masked it up and now I'm wiping a wax and grease removing solvent over it. Take note of how I actually wiped the primed part down last, because it actually holds still a tiny bit of dust that is the grey of the primer colour, and if you go over that first you can end up actually wiping that grey over your blend, which then after you clear over it you'll actually see a slight grey tinge underneath your clear. So always make sure you wipe down the primed part last. As you can see, I've also given a wipe down with a tack rag, which is that yellow rag I've got in my hand, and then we'll start putting on our first coat of colour. Now this second coat, it's pretty much covered. After you got your second coat on, you can I will then grab my blending clear, which is just your clear base coat, which aids the blend. So just put that over where the blended area is going to be. That actually just helps the base coat to land in that wet coat of base coat, clear base coat, and stops you from seeing any blotchiness when it's cleared. So I've turned the pressure up slightly and not putting this last coat on quite as wet, you're just dusting it on so you can get the effect of the metallic to stand up a bit better. And you're just flicking it out over that door and around the bumper bar as well.
So for this job I'm going to be using the Sata 4000B HVLP gun. I've used it on a couple of jobs now. One of my friends lent it to me to do a few videos with. They're a great gun, they've got an absolutely massive fan on them. You can get a really nice finish with them if you know how to use it properly. So you must set your pressure. There's a digital gauge on these ones. As soon as you start pulling the trigger, you'll get the digital gauge reading. You want that set to approximately 2 bar pressure. Now they've got a massive fan on these. Reason being they've got such a big fan is because you actually have to get the gun nice and close. So it's about 1 fist width away from the panel. That's why they have a big fan, because by the time you've actually got the gun so close, it's obviously going to make it smaller. So having a big fan enables you to still have a big area that the paint's going to hit the panel when your gun is so close. So HVLP stands for high volume, low pressure. You're going to use less pressure in these guns compared to a conventional gun, and therefore you're going to use less paint, because the lower the pressure, the less paint is going to go in the atmosphere, and you're also holding the gun a little bit closer than the other guns. So they're more efficient and they're a great gun. So here we go.
So you'll set the fluid needle on that, you'll wind it right in and then you'll wind it out 2 turns. If you're doing a bonnet, roof or a boot lid, you could turn it out an extra half a turn if you wanted to. It's not necessary, but it can be done. So as you see, it really doesn't take me long at all to get not many passes. That might have been 5 or 6 passes to get the whole door done. That's because they really have got such a big fan on them. So your first coat, you want it on just so that it's closed up over the base coat. You're not going for your completely wet finish quite yet. You'll then give that 5 minutes before putting your next coat on.
So as you can see, after putting that first coat on, you have to have the gun quite close to achieve the correct finish with these. If you don't have the gun close enough, it's not going to atomize correctly. With this gun, it will more drop on the panel, whereas you want it to atomize quite finely and get on there nice and quick. So here we go with that second coat.
So you can notice that I've slowed down a little bit for this second coat. Take note of always painting through that door gap as well. If I was to stop on both coats on the center of that door gap, you can end up getting a double up area, and they can end up getting big build-ups and running down that edge. up on this pillar once I've finished painting this quarter panel. That's actually not a natural edge up the top there on that quarter panel pillar, so I'm actually going to blend it out in the clear. So I've actually got a small gun, I've got a mini gun that's set up with some blending reducer in it. I'll then spray that over that edge. And that can now be taken out the back once it's been baked for 40 minutes and then polished. So this car was painted today and also was polished in the same day. As you can see, it came up quite nice, good finish on it. So thanks again for watching. This has been another Gunman production. Check out some of my other vids here at the end if you like. Goodbye.